Hello and welcome back if you are returning subscriber. And if you're new to this channel, you're more than welcome to be here. Today I'm going to be talking about something that may trigger you. Okay. I'm going to discuss, me being a 38-year-old woman living alone with two cats. If that sounds like you, this video is for you. I want to talk to you about my experience dealing with a narcissist and how I'm still dealing with it. This video was um, triggered by the fact that a new significant other has awakened something in me that I I know is not healed, right? And I just want to make sure that I can fully explain what I'm going through, right? And if anybody out here has ever dealt with a narcissist, and I'm sure you have if you're watching this video, you would know that that type of abuse is very invisible. The emotional and the mental abuse that I sustained or that was afflicted on me was from my childhood. And we could talk about how my mom was a narcissist, but we're going to focus on the past relationship that I had and the current one that I'm entering now. So, just to give you a little bit of story about me, my name is Michelle, and I am a tarot reader, and I am on Teach Tarot on YouTube. So, welcome for uh, clicking onto this video. If you also would like to subscribe, like, and share, and comment below, I would greatly appreciate that too. Definitely helps the channel out. And I wanted to get into the fact that I have dealt with narcissism since birth. And I will make that video about my mom in the next video. But this video, I want to talk about my current significant other and my previous one. My current one is great. Like, we connect on a very deep spiritual level. He does live in Canada and I am in Chicago, but it's enough um, spiritual depth that it's worth exploring. So we are. I'll be going and traveling to meet him here in the next less than 20 days. So the reason why I'm making this video today is because something that he said triggered me to go to sleep crying and wake up crying. And if this is something that you've dealt with in the past, this video is definitely for you. Or if this is recent, I'm going to sit here and share with you my personal experience. And I want to also let you know that I am not a licensed physician. I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. But I am somebody who was a victim of an abuser who liked to prey on mental and emotional abuse. I call this narcissist. And I have only come to realize this through my own experience with being in therapy and having a psychiatrist myself, having to work through and navigate the nuances and the different challenges and obstacles that you will have to overcome and hurdle over in order to get to the other side, like I have to some extent, right? I'm not fully healed. No one is ever fully healed, but I am able enough to be able to sit here and share my story with you today because I want to bring, if it's just one person, out of the darkness and give them hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel, then I have won today. So just to give you the story, my new person, he lives in Canada. I adore him so much. I think he's very admirable. He's very um, he encompasses a lot of what a healthy, collaborative, functioning relationship would require. And I feel like he is my counterpart. Obviously, just leaving my last relationship with an abuser 2 weeks prior to him asking me to be his girlfriend, there's still some traumatic experiences that are still coming to the surface with this experience with this new person. And it's only been 3 weeks, and we are going to go travel to see each other, like I had said earlier. Um, and to meet each other to see if it really is going to work. And for me to step outside of my comfort zone and even explore this opportunity is to show you that you can heal to a point where you are open to love again. Because I know I was closed off to it at one point. So on October 29th, my current boyfriend asked me to be his girlfriend. It was organic, it was refreshing. I was on a video call with him. He was in the park with his daughter, and some friend of his that he hadn't seen in a while, came strolling by in the park, right? Conveniently timing, right? And my current boyfriend decides to show the phone of me on the video conference, which is fine, and say, "This is my girlfriend." And then looks at me and said, "It's safe to say that you're my girlfriend, right?" And I was like, "Yes, of course." And like, I do like him, and we are at a point where we're already expressing how much we love each other. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to, but I had to discern and assess and make sure that this is not something of a rebound for me, because some of the narcissistic abuse characteristics are, idolizing, jumping in a new relationship right after the old one. And I'm exhibiting these um, behaviors within myself. So I sit back and reflect on it. I meditate, I pray, because I want to make sure that I don't repeat the same cycle I have been repeating for the last 8 years with the narcissist that I had left 2 weeks prior. So, beginning of October, I had finally decided to walk away from my abuser. And I hope that if you're going through some of the same things, that this story will help you, empower you, and uplift you enough to want to make the change and choose you, right? I chose me. And that's what made the difference in me walking away and saying, enough is enough, and this cannot continue the way it has been. The reason why I'm bringing this topic to you is because my current boyfriend, not understanding this entire abuse cycle, because he's a male, like this typically doesn't happen to males generally, and I'm generalizing. I'm not a statistician, and I'm not educated in all these things. So do your research. But from my experience and my opinion, I feel that my malignant narcissist preyed on me. He preyed because he observed every aspect of me. He knew every emotional tick. He knew every mental bend. He knew what would build me up and what would break me down. And that's what he would constantly do. This last year, and I'm going to start with the Beyonce concert this year, which is 1 year after he did something that was so unforgivable. Because I was in this repeat cycle, I let him back in. But of course, I'm with my therapy, coupled with trying to figure out how to navigate and get out of this really toxic relationship, and then also, safely escape. And and I've done that to some extent. But to get back to the story, he bought me tickets to go to Beyonce this past August in St. Louis. One, he knows I absolutely hate going to St. Louis. So he still did it. But he was like, "Oh, I bought these tickets." But when in fact, if you look at the math, I probably pay for all of my stuff. And this is supposed to be for my birthday. My birthday is not for another month. But then on my actual birthday, he told me that I should go hang out with my friends and family. So that's what I did. And then I stopped talking to him for 3 weeks. Of course, with a narcissist, guess what? Love bomb. They love bomb me so hard. He shows up in my apartment unannounced. Partial my fault. And I've forgiven myself for this. And you should forgive yourself for anything that you've done, because it wasn't your fault. It was my fault because I gave him the keys to my apartment. So he had this entitlement to be able to come over here whenever he felt like. It wasn't consistent. He didn't spend quality time. The only time he would ever come over here, and please note, he was a bum. He had no job. He literally was an Uber driver for the last 6 years. Nobody wanted to hire him. He was a creep too. But anyways, he was creepy when he would show up at my apartment unannounced, right? And so he would say that was quality time. This is gaslighting. And just so you know, I wrote a book on how to identify and define Red, Yellow, and Green Flag Characteristics. You should grab that book. You can find it on Amazon. It's called Shining Light on Relationships, Identifying and Defining Red, Yellow, and Green Flags. The reason why that concert was so pivotal for me was because constantly belittled me, constantly called me fat, constantly talked about how I needed to lose weight, constantly talked about how Black people were not smart enough, able enough, capable enough, and all that above. Knowing I'm Black, African American, he would also nitpick, gaslight. And let me back up. Gaslighting, a lot of people don't know exactly what that is and can't identify, because I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand it because I never looked up the definition. But I'm going to give you my opinion of the definition, of a summary of it. It's basically when a situation happens, like the Evanescence and Korn concert last year, August, and while we were at this concert, he invited his ex-girlfriend, which has been a big issue, right? Constantly talking about her, praising her, putting her on a pedestal, trying to make me jealous, hanging out with her during the daytime, not hanging out with me during the daytime, not speaking to me for 3 days because he had been hanging out with her. And I knew this for multiple reasons. His characteristic changed toward me in our interaction. And I'm a tarot reader, so I kind of figured that if he's not talking to me, he's talking to her, because he didn't have friends. He was a bum. Like I said, he had no job. He was used to being in the past. He was used to being in cycles that were toxic. And we could go into his family life later, because I got a really good story about that one. That one's really good, right? That just happened this past summer too. I actually audio recorded, but I don't want to go off on too many tangents. There will be a lot of videos about the narcissistic people in my life that have shaped me to be who I am. And a lot of people look at me like, oh my God, you're pretty. Nothing could possibly bad have happened to you. It did. And it was so severe that I feel like when you look at me, you see a refined me. You see a refined version of the person I used to be. And it comes off as, attractive, good looking. And this is how people see me. And it's because it's a reflection of how I am on the inside. I have always had pure intentions toward people. I've always been there for people. I would give the shirt off my back. But because I'm a giver, and then that the polarity and duality, there's the takers, the vampire, energy vampires, um, the jealousy, the envy, the retaliation, the picking on you, the nitpicking, the gaslighting, the all of the above, right? It made me want to be even better than I was yesterday by being an advocate for the underdog, for being to speak out on this stuff, right? Because somebody needs to hear it. If you're 38, you live alone, you have no live-in family, you isolate a lot, you cancel plans, you sleep a lot, you don't clean your house one day, and then one day you have all this energy and you're like, I'm going to clean everything. You get really ambitious. All of these happen to me. And if you can relate, please subscribe, like, share, and comment below your story, because somebody needs to hear it. Somebody needs to hear it because they need to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that they're not doing this all alone, that they're not alone, and there is somebody to help. If you need my help personally, I am out here trying to make an impact in some capacity or form, even if it's just to change one person's life. That's me winning, because that one person will then, once they heal, go and heal someone else. And the ripple effect is what I'm trying to accomplish. I also want to just finish by saying that I'm a God-fearing woman. I I try to do right by people, but it's really hard to trust and believe that people are good, because so many people haven't been. But there are people out there who want to listen, who want to help. And it's my mission to be the modern day Harriet Tubman for abused women, even men if it happens, children, to guide you to a place where you can feel safe, secure, and live versus just survive. And on that note, I want to thank you so much for watching. And if you want to know more about me or about what I can offer, I also have a website. You can find me on www.mb, M as in Mary, B as in boy, my first and last name. So MB Guiding Light. If you can understand, I want to guide you to the light. That's my whole purpose in life. So www.mbguidinglight.com for updates and how I can help you individually with personal growth, professional growth, as well as spiritual growth. And with all that being said, I thank you so much for being here, for clicking on that button, saying, I think she's worth my time today, because she might have something that I needed to hear and that could help me and others around me. So, again, I hope and pray that everything that you've ever dreamed of comes to fruition. And if nobody told you today, I love you, you're beautiful, and you got this. Signing off, Michelle. Oh, and also, if you didn't know, I'm also a tarot reader. So at the end of at the end of all my videos, I'm gonna pull 3 cards for the collective. Um, so I'll just go ahead and do that right now. For the collective, we have 3 of Cups, and I'll get to a quick summary here in just a minute. 3 of Cups. The element is water with the Cups. Energy. Cups have to do with emotions, your psychic ability, your intuition, your loving and nurturing side of yourself, and the love and nurturing you get from others with the three's company. So that talks about friends and family that are there for you. And then obviously with the 3 of Cups, sometimes it could just be a third party energy depending on the other card. The 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords has to do, it's right after the 3 of Swords, which is heartbreak. 4 of Swords is about rest and rejuvenation. And with that being said, this person's sleeping and healing their heart because of all the heartache that they've gone through, and they've reached out to their friends and family for support. And then the 3 of Wands. We got 3, 4, 3 here. So 2 3s on the 3 card pool. With the 3 of Wands, Wands is fire energy, that's action. Someone is expecting something. Let's pull another card just because I know what they're expecting. Waiting for something to happen. Stuck holding pattern. So if you're feeling stuck and needing to, one of the things I always say about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And in this situation, if you try something different like I have, which was to be open to someone who is in another country to date, and then also go on a trip by myself with him without my friends or family. So this will be different. It'll change the entire landscape of my understanding of life and relationships. And I can't wait to embrace that type of change. And I think what you guys are waiting for is change. I think you're waiting for change in your love life, your money, your family. You want to grow your family. You want to have that financial wealth and legacy. But how do you get from the trauma to the life you want to live? And that's where I can help. You probably are also having nightmares and dreams about this, especially after this heartache. It's in the Swords. It's probably a very painful ending. Something was forced to walk away from, and it was painful. And that's what's having you have to reach out to your friends and family for support, love that you didn't get from whatever relationship you were in. Now you with the time that you have available, you can now rest and rejuvenate, because that's exactly what you all need right now. And I feel like you can expect that you will be going through the healing process for the numbers I have out here are 3, 4, 3, 12, which is another 3 if you break it down. Then we have 10 is 1 and 9. So at this time, I would expect that you would get a lot of support from your friends and family, which will make you feel safe to sleep at night, even though you've been having a lot of nightmares and maybe some traumatic experiences where you fall asleep crying and you wake up crying, because you want a life that you want